Hey, generator installers. It's Mitch here at SwiftSocial. I'm here with one of my clients, Jamie. He's the co-owner of Gentech Northwest up in Western Washington, and he gets a lot of generator installs and sells a lot of generators. And we wanted to talk about in this video how he manages to get a hold of a lot of the leads that I get him with the Facebook and Instagram advertising. And maybe you guys can take some of the stuff that he does well to successfully turn those leads into estimates and implement them into your own business and get more installs. So, what do you think the biggest ROI thing that you do to turn leads into estimates is?
I think, in my experience, I think people really want to feel like they're getting a good deal. I think contractors in general have had a bad rap for many years, and still do. I mean, for probably good reason. There's a lot of bad contractors out there, a lot of shady ones that'll take your money and do a shady job and, not complete it or, but I just think that, the homeowners in general is what we mainly deal with. And I just think they just want to see something on paper. They want to see that they're getting a deal. And I think myself, I do too. When I hire contractors, I just want to make sure I'm getting a good price, a fair price, and a quality job done, when I have contractors work on my own home. So I think that's like the biggest thing. And we've done things to implement changes in the way we bid projects or estimate these generator installs to try to capitalize on that.
And what kind of things have you done as far as the changes you made when you do the estimates and stuff like that and installs to kind of push that fair price, quality work angle?
So we've done several things. A lot of them, not directly dealing with Generac, Generac does have promotional events like, I know they got one coming up here soon, which is a 7-year, extended warranty, promo. And that's a bumper to bumper warranty that replaces your 5-year limited warranty, which is a pretty good deal, but they don't always run that. It comes and goes throughout the year. Sometimes it'll be a 10-year, sometimes it'll be a 7-year. So what we've done to try to fill the gaps, so to speak, is we've done like giving away free pressure washers, Generac pressure washers. We've given military veteran discounts, law enforcement, first responders, senior discounts. And then we've also, our best one that we've done so far, and we just started this year, was to do a early sign up bonus. And I think I talked to you a little bit about that. That is, many different ways. I mean, we set ours at 7 days after doing the estimate. So when we come out to your home and do an estimate, basically once we, provide that to you, you have 7 days within that time to, take advantage of another bonus, which is an early sign up bonus, which is cash off the invoice price. So,
hey, real quick, if you're a home standby generator installer and you want 3 to 5 plus additional generator installs per month, which is about $30,000 to $100,000 plus in new revenue every single month, I'll build you an advertising system just like the ones I show you how to build in my videos here to do that for you, and I'll run it for you totally for free for 2 weeks. And if you don't love working with me, you never pay me a penny for it. So if that sounds interesting, go ahead and click the link below to book a quick phone call with me in the description, and that's go.swiftsocial.org. And I'm looking forward to talking to you. Thanks. It's not actually it's not an actual discount because it's kind of like a net zero because you just add it onto the invoice, but it's,
depending on the size of the job, we do add it on, because we're so low already with our bids, and we're the lowest in the area. We're beating everybody. So we got to keep our margins up. So we can't really afford to be giving it away. I mean, just to make someone feel good. I know it doesn't sound right, but so we just have,
that's true. Yeah.
I mean, we do have to capitalize and regain that, what we give away, but it does make them feel better. So that's the main thing. It makes them feel like they're getting something, because it's hard to build that trust when they don't know who you are and they just see Facebook ads and they go on your, Google you and find your reviews. And that's still, sometimes it's not enough for them to hire you. it just comes down to price, really. I mean, I've been doing this 30 years, and it seems like the low bid always gets the job. So we've lowered our prices this year because we're having a hard time selling value. We can't explain enough how valuable our services are when we install a generator, because we're there until the end. If you have an issue with it, we're there to take care of it. Factory trained, certified. We're licensed and bonded, through the state of Washington. So it's just, but some people don't care. They just care about the price. It's the lowest price. They'll hire the lowest price no matter what. So
Gotcha.
you can talk till you're blue in the face sometimes, and with the customer, and it comes down to pricing. So that's what we found we had to do.
What are some things that you did as far as like the actual lead nurturing stuff? So like, I do the Facebook and Instagram ads for you.
Yeah.
You said last time we talked, you get usually between 6 to 10 additional installs per month, somewhere in there from the Facebook and Instagram ads. When you get those leads and they come into you, what are some of the things that you started doing recently that's making it so that you can book the majority of those leads into estimates? Because I know there's a lot of people out there, like a lot of clients that I have, or maybe a lot of people who might watch this, who they get leads, but they have a hard time actually turning them into estimates and getting a hold of the people. So like, what are some of the things that you've done to actually get a hold of people?
I think first of all, having a good sales team is key. Mm-hmm. Knowing how to sell is key. And just being proactive in getting back to people in a timely fashion. So I know we weren't doing some of those things. We'd get busy installing generators because we're just a small company. We'd get busy installing generators. Everybody's working in the field. We don't have like a huge office that is taking calls and a sales force that's going out right away to quote jobs. So in my mind, it'd be easier if we did have that. But so we're taking the sales calls also. So when we get that lead that is generated through you via Facebook, I found now that the best thing to do is to drop whatever you're doing and call that person immediately. They just filled out that lead form, right? Mm-hmm. So get on the phone and call them while it's fresh in their head. Because even if you wait 2, 3, 4 hours a day, wait over the weekend, they may never answer that call. And I know from experience, unfortunately, I've made the mistake, and I'm sure we've lost quite a few. Starting out over a year ago with you, I'm sure we've lost quite a few jobs by not being more proactive in chasing these leads down right away and saying, oh, well, we have this to do, let's do that. And then maybe we'll call tomorrow morning, or, then things get away from the end of the day. You're like, okay, well, we'll just put it off to the next day. But that's one thing in business that you should not procrastinate on is new sales opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. Gosh, it's great. What about follow-ups and stuff like that? Do you feel like you have to do a lot of follow-ups most of the time to get a hold of some of these people? Or if you're on top of them right away, do you usually get a hold of them pretty quick, or what's that like?
So I found if I call within the first hour of them.
Yeah. Sorry, it stopped recording for a second. You said if you call within the first hour.
Yeah. So if I call within the first hour, I have I'd say 95% chance of getting a hold of them. They're expecting that call. Mm-hmm. So, gotcha. And I forgot what I was going to say, but you asked a question. What was it? I'm drawing a blank.
I was asking about follow-ups. Do you feel like you have to follow up with people most of the time? Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, following up's a big thing too, because we used to send emails out right away, so we do 3 things. It's phone call, text message, email. And in that email or text message, we send them our testimonials page that you put together for us, which is amazing because we have video testimonials from recent customers that they'll get to see without even talking to us first. They'll get to see and look at all those reviews. So we send that out in either the text or the email. And then, but the first thing I'm doing now is we're doing just a phone call. As soon as we get that lead, within the first hour, get on the phone and call them.
And then what do you do if they don't pick up right away?
Leave a message, and then um, we send off a text message, like I said, with a video testimonial page, and then we send off an email, and then we wait a day, and then we do one of those three things again the next day, and then we just keep going till we've done that. I don't know, a couple of times each, and then if there's no response, then we let it go and go on to the next one. But what I found a lot too is even emailing. If the first thing you do is just email somebody back, a lot of times they'll go into spam or junk, or they'll think it's spam or junk, and they won't even respond.
Yeah.
And then you'll talk to them like a week later, and they'll say, "Oh, I never got the email," which I get a lot of emails too, and it's hard to with all the spam and stuff going on nowadays, it's hard to decipher through it.
So you find that call and text is pretty much the best way to get a hold of most of the people?
I think so, yeah. I think email boxes are just jam full of just spam emails nowadays, Yeah.
You think it's worth sending at least one email, though, when you do reach out to people?
I do, yeah. No, absolutely. At least one, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because we do get responses by email, and some people don't even want to talk on the phone. They'd rather communicate with email, text message until you set up the appointment and come out and visit them.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah. And then what days of the week do you usually contact people? Like if you get a lead on a Saturday or a Sunday or something like that, do you call them the same day, or do you wait until Monday, or what days of the week are you usually reaching out to people?
The best time to get a hold of people, what I've found, is afternoons on Friday or even on Saturday, anytime on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And that's when people aren't working, they're home for the weekend. A lot of people work Monday through Thursday nowadays. They don't even work Fridays. So the best times that I've found is, Fridays, an afternoon, and then Saturday, anytime during Saturday. Yeah. I don't call on Sundays just because that's,
Will you text them or email them on Sundays though? Or
I try not to. I feel like that's kind of like a family day, and like people don't want to be bothered on Sunday. People are going to church, they're with their family and stuff like that. I just don't. I don't think they want to deal with that on Sundays. But so I haven't done Sundays. Okay. But I don't. If I get a lead on Friday, I don't put it off to Monday.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I used to, but that's not what you should be doing. I found that lead sometimes is gone and out of it, and they're not even thinking about a generator anymore. By the time Monday rolls around.
Yeah. Gotcha. And you said afternoons are usually the best time that you found to get a hold of people?
Yeah.
Or is that just on Fridays? Just in general?
Well, I think even during the week, anytime after like 4:00 during the week, I have a better chance of getting hold of people. And I think it's because people, if they're retired, they're not getting up early in the morning. They're, but if they're working, they're, obviously working, 9 to 5, 8 to 4, whatever the normal working hours are. So if you can get a hold of them after they get home, they're going to talk to you and answer their phone.
It's like early evenings, pretty much the best time. Yeah. Okay. Great. Do you know what the disparity is? Like, so before you started being super on top of people as far as reaching out to them, calling them within the first hour, unless it's Sunday, being diligent with the follow-ups and stuff, what do you think your actual like lead to estimate ratio was before you started like really nailing those things down?
So say that again, lead to estimate ratio.
Yeah, like how much more successful have you been in turning leads into estimates since you started really like, making sure that you're following up with people consistently and reaching out to them as soon as humanly possible and all those kind of things?
I would say it's 50% change.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily turning them into estimates, but at least talking to people. Because it was a lot of no responses. Mm-hmm. And I think we've talked about that, you and I. I'm like, how come they're not, responding or and stuff like that? And a lot of it was on our end because we just weren't, putting out enough effort, I should say. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But it's increased quite a bit.
Do you have anything else to add as far as the lead nurturing stuff? Like any recommendations you give to people as far as reaching out to people, or is it basically just reach out as soon as you can, unless it's a Sunday, call, text, send at least one email, and be consistent with the follow-ups?
Yeah. So One thing that we do, we're a small company, like I said, we don't have a sales team, and we cover
Mhm.
probably 100-mile radius from our shop.
Mhm.
And we're in Western Washington, and there's a lot of bodies of water and stuff, so it's hard to get to everybody's property to do a physical estimate. So I
Uh-huh.
found that um, customers are more than willing to send you videos or send you pictures of their property.
Yeah.
Picture of the electrical panel, picture of their gas meter, their propane tank, their propane meter. They're more than willing to send you pictures. And if you've done enough of these, I mean, we do 150 installs a year. So if you've done enough of these, you got a pretty good idea of what you're looking at as far as price once you see their layout of their property and pictures of everything. And it
Mhm.
only, I mean, for us, it only takes 5, 6 pictures and we can give them an accurate quote,
Mhm.
you know. And a lot of times that works best because then you're not inconveniencing them. They get home from work in the evening, say after dinner, then they go and take pictures and send them to you, and they have a quote, the very next day, or or even that evening, and they're happy. So
Yeah.
I think that's a way of speeding things up and getting more estimates out there.
Yeah. Well, I will say I think that makes sense if you have a really big service area and you can't
Yeah,
feasibly actually go out to everybody's house and give them a face to face estimate. But something that I found with other clients too, right, is that, and I think you found this too, is when you're face to face with somebody, for the estimate, you have a way higher percentage chance of actually closing
absolutely.
them on it.
I was just going to
Yeah.
bring that up. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
Gotcha.
the close rate is extremely higher when you're face to face because they do want to see a face and they want to know that you're a real person before they
Uh-huh.
give you their down payment. So there's, just because there's so many scams out there, they want
Yeah.
to feel more comfortable.
And so you're saying you can do the over the phone estimate using pictures that they give you of their gas meter, or all that kind of stuff that you need
Yeah, we
for the
close we
estimate.
close a lot of jobs that way.
But you only do that for people where you can't actually feasibly go out there in person face
Right,
to face.
right, right.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. And then something else on that point too that you kind of brought up earlier was I made a testimonial page for you because I understand, with my business, and I think generator installers don't necessarily think about this as much, or contractors in general don't think about this as much as they should, is like social proof and having, other
yeah,
successful clients in the past that you show off, which is, part of the reason I made this YouTube channel, right? So it's like,
yeah,
so I made that testimonial page for you because, like you said, you have that 100-mile radius pretty much, and sometimes you can't go face to face with people. So I was like, what can we do to increase, the trust levels that people have with you and make you seem like a real person,
right.
like you're trustworthy and stuff. So yeah,
Yep,
you started recording, and you have a YouTube channel too, and we'll plug it at the end, and I'll put a link to it.
yeah,
But you started recording testimonials with some of your customers actually right after you do the install. Just you standing next to them like 5 minutes long,
yeah.
whatever,
You're
talking
you're
about the
already
job. Yeah.
you're already there. You're already on site. No, and
Mhm.
you're already inconveniencing them by being there all day installing their generator.
Yeah.
So they're more than happy to do it for the most part.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, yeah. And so what we did for you is we put together, so you started recording testimonials right after you do the
Yep.
installs. You started putting them on YouTube. And then what I did was I took those and I put them on a testimonial page on a
Yeah.
website. And you said now, whenever you send out estimates over the phone, or even just if you're trying to get a hold of people, right? Tell me. But you send out that testimonial page with pretty much whatever you do, because it just
Right.
increased the trust so much. And people are like, oh, wow, he's got all these testimonials, the social proof. It's like,
Yeah.
makes it a lot more appealing. Is that right? Or
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And I do that, either through the text or email, during the initial contact when
Mhm.
we get a lead.
Yeah. So sending out some sort of social proof, and maybe for people who don't have video testimonials like that yet, I mean, they should start collecting them. But even if you got like a good Google review page or Yelp or something like that, I mean, it's probably
Yeah.
better to send that out with whatever you're sending than not doing it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the more information you can give somebody to make a decision, the,
Yeah.
the more comfortable they're going to be.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Um, is there anything else that you've done on the sales side that you think has really helped you out, besides that early install or the early sign up bonus and stuff like that, that you think really pushes a lot of deals across the line that you do that
Like,
maybe other installers don't do?
there's one thing that I can relate to that you and I were talking about this. You had a client, I mean, you still do, I'm sure, that
Yeah.
uh, he mentioned to you just being professional, showing up with a professional looking van or truck or service vehicle and having your decals on it, um, business cards, being professional, saying you're licensed, bonded, put your numbers down there, fully insured. Works different in each state, but just being more professional and looking more professional when you go and do an estimate for somebody. I mean, if you're showing up in a broken down truck with a ladder falling off of it, and and you don't have clothing on that, it's just the appearance is kind of everything. And that makes customers more comfortable using you. I just had a customer last week, I believe it was, went with us because the other guy that showed up brought his wife, and she had purple hair, and the guy was all dressed down, and he didn't have he was just in rags basically, and he brought his diesel pickup truck, and there's just nothing on the side of it for decals or anything, and just looked very unprofessional. And the guy didn't even flinch. He's like, "I'm not going with that guy. I'm going with you guys." So, I mean, that can lose you jobs by not looking the part,
For sure.
So being professional is a big thing.
Yeah. And I think really the overarching theme behind most of this stuff too is just increasing the trust levels with the person. Because especially if they're coming from Facebook and Instagram ads or something like that, they're good leads if you're on top of them, most of the time. Yeah. But it's like, I think a lot of the times contractors or generator installers in general, especially if it's a smaller company, they're used to just selling mostly word of mouth or selling mostly referrals. And the thing about getting used to selling referrals and stuff like that is, out of all the different kind of leads you're going to get, those are pretty much always going to be the highest trust level baseline starting off, right? Because if somebody's got their friend and someone's friend recommends you over to them, they got their name behind it, and they trust their friend, and they whatever. So it's like you start out at a way higher trust level. But when you come from a cold audience that doesn't know you, like Facebook or Instagram ads or whatever it is, you got to do everything you can to increase the trust that they have with you as fast as you can, right?
We've also done friends and family coupons. So when we get done doing a job, we'll give out friends and family coupons for $300 off or whatever you want to do. But it gives them an incentive to give those to their neighbors, friends, people at work, people at church, school, anywhere they go. And that's an incentive because they get money off of when we come back to do service on their generator. And then the person they give it to obviously gets a discount. Yeah. So that's a good idea too. And also, just asking them, say, hey, do you have anybody else that may be interested in a generator, interested in our services? If so, let me know. We'll take care of them while you're talking to them, or or just after you installed the unit. So
yeah. And can I add something to that? So that's actually been something. So I send out those sales guidelines or sales best practices to all my clients that I've been developing. Yeah. And I continuously add to it and refine it. And I think that's actually where you got that early sign up, idea from that you're doing now. Yeah. So one of the things that I've been meaning to add on there, and something you just mentioned, is asking for referrals. So I think most of the time people don't get a lot of referrals because they don't ask for them. And it seems really simple, but people just don't ask for referrals. So I think, and you tell me, but do you think the best time to ask, and I have a second part to this, but do you think the best time to ask for referrals as soon as you finish the job and do the final walkthrough with them? Or when do you usually ask?
I think when you finish the job and they're happy, after you do the final walkthrough and they're happy and they're excited about their new system, that's gonna be the best time in my mind to ask for a referral. And then so just don't think that, okay, we got the job done, that's one more, all right, good, now we're on the road. Try to capitalize on that, as another opportunity to get another sale with family members, neighbors, whoever it may be.
Yeah. And I think people really underestimate the power of referrals too, because even if 1 in 10 of your customers gives you a referral, you have a 10% referral rate. It's not even necessarily that you're increasing, your profit, your revenue, whatever, by 10%, because your cost to acquire that customer, that referral customer, was $0.
Way down.
Yes. Exactly. So it's actually way more than 10% as far as profit and stuff that you're making.
How much advertising did you do to get that customer? Zero.
Yeah, exactly. The zero cost to acquire it. And then I wanted to add something too, and I think you might benefit from this also, because I learned this from Alex Hormozy. So he said, when you ask for a referral, don't ask, do you know anybody who might be interested in getting a generator? Because that just turns it into a simple yes or no question. So when you're asking for referrals, what you want to do instead is you want to say, who do you know who might be interested in getting a generator?
Oh, okay.
Because at the very minimum, if you're asking who they know, it's not a yes or no question anymore. And even if they say no, it's harder for them to say no because they got to say, oh, I don't know anybody who would want one.
Yeah, they can't say
Right?
no to a who
Yeah, they can't
question.
just say, oh, no. But it's like, who do you know? And at least, they actually think about it a little bit. Oh, do I know someone? And then,
Right, that makes sense.
I think if you combine that, asking who do you know who would want one instead of do you know anyone, it's a big difference. And then if you combine that with, like you were saying, like you have coupons or something, I like that too. So if you know anybody, and then I'll take it a step further too. So this is also from Alex. So what you can do if you ask them that question, you say, hey, who do you know who might be interested in getting, a generator installed? Do you know anyone? And they say, oh, my neighbor John might be interested in it. What you want to do is instead of just having them give you John's contact info and then you text him or call him or whatever, say, hey, I just did a job for your neighbor, do you want a generator kind of thing? What you can do instead is while you're still there on site after the final walkthrough with the person and you're having that conversation with them, you can actually ask them, and you have to have obviously enough rapport with them. You can't just be, but you ask them to introduce you to John, to their neighbor, to the referral through their phone. So what you do is you say, hey, can you take a picture of us together from their phone, take a picture of us together, and then send it to the referral and introduce us. And you can do that either in like a three-way like group chat, like on text message. So it's you, the customer. Yeah. So it's you, the customer, and the referral all in this group chat together. And then they send the picture of you two and say, hey, Jamie just installed this generator for us. Are you interested in something like that? You talked about it in the past, whatever. And at a very minimum, even if you don't get the three-way group chat kind of thing going, you should still try to get your customer to introduce you to the person first instead of you reaching out kind of cold. So if you can get them to introduce you, at least take a picture of you two together, send it off, say, hey, this guy's going to contact you about a generator. We just got this job, done.
Well, there you go. Instead of the picture, you could have the video testimonial you just did with
or even that's even better. Yeah.
Your client, and you can send that to the neighbor.
Yeah. Exactly. And that goes back to that theme we were talking about too, where it's just really all about increasing trust levels, because the fact that they see you with that picture with their neighbor and stuff like that, I mean, that makes it even more trustworthy because instead of we just did the job, I don't know if he liked the job or not, whatever, maybe he just pried a referral out of him. It's like, you can see he's happy. He's like,
right. Yeah.
So, there's rapport there. So
no, that makes perfect sense. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah. Cool. Is there anything else you can think of as far as sales kind of guidelines or any best practices that you use that's helped you?
Yeah, and I don't know about sales. I think we covered quite a bit. I mean, are you having any issues with your clients and not being able to sell, or are there any struggles that way as far as trying to explain to them how to approach the sales aspect of it and not just expect that the leads are going to automatically turn into sales?
Yeah. So I think most of the recommendations that I give to people who are having a hard time selling, we already kind of summed up. So it's mostly, face-to-face meetings are crucial. I always tell them to do that. It's, the professionalism in your appearance in your company and stuff like that. It's being punctual with the lead nurturing and making sure you're on top of people, call them within the first hour, text them, repeated follow-ups, that kind of thing. Because also something I've heard from other clients of mine too is like when you respond to people right away and you call them within the first hour or even the first 15 minutes that they fill out that lead form and get in touch with you, it makes you seem more professional and you even start out on a better foot if you're that responsive.
Yeah.
So just doing that stuff, just being professional, make sure you get the face-to-face meetings, being super on top of the lead nurturing.
Oh, I guess I do have some. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
So I do have something to add. The doing the quotes right away in front of the customer when you're face to face with them, that's huge. We hear a lot of feedback from other generator installers that they don't even get their quotes back to the customer for weeks on end, or the customer has to call to get their quote and say, hey, you never sent it to me, which is very unprofessional. So I think your chances of landing that job are better if you are punctual to the appointment. You get your quote out in front of their face while you're standing there talking to them. So, and you can even email it to them right away. We show them on our phones the quote. We email it to them right away while we're standing there. Sometimes they'll open it up on their phone and be able to look at it, and you'll be able to review it with them. So that's important.
Yeah, that's huge. That's actually on my sales guidelines that I give people and go over with, and I forgot to mention that. So when you say you give them the quote there in person at the end of the estimate, do you you said you showed on your phone. Is there a certain like software that you use, or do you just
We
like
just use
how do you
QuickBooks.
calculate it?
We just use
Okay,
QuickBooks. Yeah, I know.
gotcha.
I know. Generac has an app, and then they have
Like
like
a
an iPad
formula.
app, and you
Yeah, or
put everything
something.
on there. But
Mhm.
we don't use that. We just use QuickBooks. We've been using it long before Generac came out with anything,
Mhm.
and it works
Yeah, I
well.
think there's other options too. I think
And
some
then,
people use like,
like I said, they can see it.
oh, go ahead. Yeah, yeah, and I think there's a lot of options for that. Like I know some people use like the House Call Pro or Jobber or those kind of job
Yeah,
appointment management things for contractors and whatever. But as long as you have some sort of app or some sort of software that you can carry with you, and you can just
right.
run all the numbers really quick in front of the person, and then flip it around to them and say, hey, these
Yeah.
are all the line items. This is how much it's going to
And
cost. This is the estimate.
another
You know.
thing we did to speed that process up is we used to have line items, right?
Mhm.
That we would have to plug in every single line item while we're standing there in front of the customer, and it was time consuming.
Mhm.
Now we have just packages. We
Yeah.
have this is a whole house generator package. Here it is. Here's the price. We
Mhm.
may have to adjust a few things in there, but it's much faster. Or we have like what we call like a mid-level system where
Mhm.
you can call them different things, whatever you want to call them, but we'll
Yeah.
have that in there. So we just plug that one line item in there, and it may have to
Yeah.
adjust the price based on like certain criteria, but that
Yeah.
seems to speed things up as well.
And is that something you took from me also? Because I remember that's something I recommend to clients that I took from one of my best clients that I did a testimonial with, Tyler, actually on my channel. But
Yeah, I seen that
so he's
one. Yeah.
got 4 different packages. Yeah, is that where you took that from, or were you doing that anyways?
No, I was doing that. It was just getting time consuming, typing in
Hmm.
every single line item into QuickBooks,
Yeah.
and while you're doing the estimate, versus just hitting one line item and then adjusting a little bit, like I said.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's something
So
we've been doing for a
basically,
while.
yeah. So basically, having like 3 or 4 pre-built packages for
Yep.
generator installs in whatever type of
Yep.
software you use that
Yeah,
you
we
can
have
just load
three,
up right there.
and we have
Yeah.
three, and 90% of the time it's a whole house generator. That's what
Yeah.
everybody wants. So
Yeah. And that's your top of the line system, like all the bells and whistles, the max price
yep,
package, or
yep. And then I can tell you also, since we're talking about sales, that upselling once you are on the job is critical to your bottom line.
Mhm.
Like sell surge protectors, just upsell Wi-Fi monitoring on their propane tank.
Mhm.
Just sell them a service contract, you know,
Mhm.
5 or 10 year service contract.
Yeah.
Just upselling is, that stuff just flows right through to your bottom line, and you're already there. You're already in person with them. It's much easier. So than trying to do it down the road or ahead of time.
Mhm. Yeah. That's awesome. Gotcha. I think that's pretty much that's all I can think of. Is there anything else you wanted to add, or anything that you think's been a big
No,
contributing factor
I
for your
think if
success?
some people want to see my video testimonials, they'll
Yeah.
be able to look at the link that you'll post down below the video, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to put your
And
channel down there so people can click on
okay,
it, go look at it. And yeah, and you're right. They can see examples of those video testimonials
yeah,
that you've done with people and stuff too. And I think that's the perfect format. Just like put the generator in the middle, have you two stand next to it, and just ask them a
yep.
few questions. It doesn't need to be super long or drawn out.
No, we have some
Like
that
this
are
video, but
30 seconds. We have some that are where
yeah,
we got to cut our customer off because they're so long.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
we have So that's what you tell them. You tell them it doesn't have to be very long at all. Just ask them a few questions. If they're happy, if they're satisfied, and that's it. We could do another video on how to do testimonials and kind of go over some stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
so
Gotcha. That's awesome. Well, I think that's about it then. So I'll probably go ahead and I'll stop this recording. But yeah, Jamie's got a YouTube channel too. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll put the link to your channel in the description here. And if you're a generator installer or whatever, and you're interested in that, he makes a ton of good videos about everything to do with generator installs. So stuff like this, like explaining different systems and stuff. And yeah, it's great. So,
all right, thanks, Mitch.
yep, appreciate it.